Hello, my yarny friends. I'm Sara Sach, and welcome back to my crochet channel. Now, today's video, I'm going to show you how to crochet the falling leaves wrap scarf. And I'm calling it a wrap scarf because it's not as wide as a lot of wraps, but it's a little bit wider than your average scarf. All right, it measures about 12 inches across, and it's about 36 inches long. It's a really simple pattern. It's a 6-row repeat that we repeat over and over again to form these beautiful leaf filet patterns. Now, I know this yarn is super busy, so don't panic. I'm going to be doing the demo in this solid gold so that you can see how pretty it looks in a solid color as well. We're going to talk more about yarns in just a few minutes, but I didn't want you to say, oh no, it's too busy, I cannot do this, because I'm going to show you how to do it with this beautiful gold yarn. And so the way the pattern works is we're going to do these 6-row repeats as many times as you would like. And of course, I'll tell you how many times I did when we get farther on in the video. And then we finish off with these shell picot stitches across. And then we go over to the other end and do the same thing. And as you saw from those beginning pictures, it makes just a beautiful wrap scarf. You can put it across your head, across your neck, across your shoulders. It just has lots of fun uses. So, you can find the complete pattern with lots of pictures for every step on my blog, and as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. The yarn that I used is called Impeccable. You can purchase this at Michael's, and you're going to need approximately 7 ounces. Okay, so there's 3.5 ounces on one of these, so you'll need 2 skeins of Impeccable, and the name of the color is Falling Leaves Variegated. Now, it's a medium weight number 4 yarn. You can use any medium weight number 4 yarn for this project. You could even do it in cotton if you wanted to. I just fell in love with this yarn colorway and thought it was perfect. And I really think it is. Yes, it's a little busy. Not everyone's going to like that. And that's why you can do it in a solid. You could do it in a striping yarn. You could do it in ombre, would be beautiful in some nice fall colors. And the truth is, you could even do this in spring colors if you wanted it to be a spring leaf wrap scarf. All right, so you need about 7 ounces of any medium weight number 4 yarn. We're going to stitch today with our eye hook, 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. Normally we stitch a medium weight number 4 in an H hook, but I want this one to be a little more open and lacy and not quite so tight with our stitches. All right, and then besides that, you're going to need a needle just for weaving in ends and a pair of scissors. So we're going to begin with our chain, and remember to stitch this chain just a little bit loose. So there's my slip knot, and we're going to chain 43 chains. And again, stitch them a little bit loose so the bottom of your wrap scarf isn't all puckered up. We want it to lay nice and flat. All right, so I'm going to stitch 43 chains, just a little bit loose. I have chained my 43 chains just a little bit loose. And we're going to begin by stitching a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. We don't count the loop on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll go in and make our double crochet, and then we'll double crochet in the next chain. So our chain 3 that we skipped counts as our first double crochet, and then we stitch 2 more. So we have 3 double crochets. Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in this next stitch, we're going to stitch 2 double crochets. All right, so we chained 5, we skipped 5, 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and we're going to repeat this across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 double crochets in the next chain stitch. 1 and 2. All right, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 double crochets in the next. Now this first row is a little bit clumsy because we're stitching with open stitches like this with those large chains in between. So it's a little bit clumsy, but don't let that bother you. Just keep right on going. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 double crochets in the next. There we go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 double crochets in the next. There we go. All right, so you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of 2 double crochets with our chain 5s, skip 5s in between. So now we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll skip the next 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that leaves us 3 stitches, and we're going to stitch. Don't curl up on me there. 1 double crochet in those last 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. All right, let's go ahead and chain 3, and then we'll take a quick look at it. All right, so 3 double crochets, chain 5, skip 5, 2 double crochets in the next. And then we repeated that across, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of our 2 double crochets, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of our chain 5s, skip 5, and then 3 double crochets in our last stitch. And that's how row 1 should look. Let's do row 2. We've chained 3, which are chain 3 on every row will count as our first double crochet. We're going to turn our work, stitch 1 double crochet in those next 2. So we want to have 3 double crochets at the beginning and end of each row. All right, this time we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to move over here to those 2 double crochets. And we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of those. So 1, 2. 1, 2. So the previous row we had 2 double crochets. Now we have 4 because we placed 2 in each of those and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll go to the next set of 2 double crochets and repeat that. 2 double crochets in each of those 2. And chain 4. And then we'll just repeat this across until we reach those last 3 double crochets. We have repeated that across, stitching 2 double crochets in each of those 2. So we have 4 with chain 4s in between. Here's my last chain 4, and then we're going to just double crochet in these last 3 stitches. and chain 3. All right, so we have our 3 double crochets at the beginning and end of our row. We have chain 4s in between, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of those 4 double crochets for row 2. So we chain 3, we're going to turn our work, and we're going to double crochet in those next 2 double crochet, because again our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and that gives us 3 double crochets at the beginning. This time we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go to that first double crochet of our 4 and stitch 2 double crochets in that first double crochet. So 1 and 2. Then we'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next 2. And then in that last double crochet of this set, we're going to stitch 2 double crochets. So what we've done is we've increased from 4 to 6 double crochets. Now we're going to chain 3 and repeat. 2 double crochets in that first one. 1 double crochet in the next 2. And 2 double crochets in that last double crochet of this set. And chain 3. And can you already see the shape of our somewhat leaf fillet starting to show? All right, so we'll just repeat this across till we reach those last 3 double crochets. So we repeated this across. So we have 6 double crochets. We have 5 sets of those. And then we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of 3 double crochets. And that brings us to our last 3 double crochets, 1 in each of those last 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And chain 3. And this is how row 3 should look. Now you will notice it might be just a little bit what I call loopy in between. But when we do the next row, we're going to be doing decreases or stitching 2 double crochets together, and that's going to bring that back in and make that lay nice and straight. So don't worry about that. Our chain 3, we're going to turn our work and again stitch 1 double crochet in those next 2. 1 and 2. Now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to stitch these next 2 double crochets together in a double crochet decrease, or stitching 2 double crochets together. So yarn over, go in the first double crochet and pull up a loop. Then go in the next double crochet and pull up a loop. You'll have 4 loops on your hook instead of 3. Yarn over and go through the first 3. Yarn over and go through the last 2. This gives us a nice thin double crochet decrease. Now we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 2. And then we'll do a double crochet decrease in the last 2, stitching the last 2 together. And chain 4. So we have decreased back down to 4 double crochets. So now we're bringing our leaf shape back up to a point. All right, so chain 4, stitch the first 2 together with a double crochet decrease, 1 double crochet in the next 2, 1 and 2, and then stitch the last 2 of this set together. And chain 4. And then we'll repeat that on these last 3 leaves. And again, stitch 1 double crochet in the last 3 and chain 3. But can you see how that's pulling that back in a little bit and making our leaf shapes? So I have repeated that across. We've got our 3 double crochets, chain 4, and then we reduce down to 4 double crochets, chain 4, and we repeated that across. So we have 5 sets of our 4 double crochets with our chain 4s in between, and then we ended with our 3 double crochets, chain 3. All right, let's do row 5. So again, that chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and we'll stitch 2 more. On this row, we're going to chain 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to take these 4 double crochets and reduce them or decrease them down to 2 by using our 2 double crochet together method. All right, so yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, go in the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the 3 loops, yarn over, and go through the 2. And then we'll do that again with those last 2 double crochets in that set. And so now we've reduced it down to just 2 double crochets and chain 5. All right, we'll move over here to our next leaf shape and do the same thing. So now it's looking even more like a leaf. All right, and so we'll continue to repeat this. Chain 5, 2 double crochet decreases to make 2 double crochets, chain 5, and repeat all the way across again till we reach those last 3 double crochet stitches. I have completed row 5, and you can see we have our 3 double crochets, chain 5, then we did 2 double crochet decreases, or stitching 2 double crochets together, so we only have 2 double crochets at the top of our leaf there. Chain 5 and repeat across, so we have 5 sets of 2 double crochet with our chain 5s in between, and then 3 double crochets at the end and chain 3. Now we want to have 3 double crochets at the beginning and end, which are the sides of our wrap scarf. And that keeps us from having to add an extra trim on the end. All right, let's do row 6. So we're going to turn. Again, our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and then we'll double crochet in the next 2. We're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're going to go to these 2 double crochets. And we're going to stitch the 2 of those together. So we'll do our double crochet decrease, or stitching 2 double crochets together. And that makes us have just 1 double crochet, and then chain 5. All right, let's do that in our next set of 2 double crochets. We're stitching them together. And chain 5. And that's the way row 6 is. Nice and easy. Just stitching our 2 double crochets together with a double crochet decrease. And repeat that in those last 2 sets. And again, chain 5 and 1 double crochet in the last 3. I completed row 6. We have 5 of our 1 double crochets with our chain 5s in between, and then again we ended with 3 double crochets. All right, so we have one more row to do before we start repeating. Okay, so we're going to turn our work. Again, double crochet in those 2 double crochets. We're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to move over here to this 1 double crochet and stitch 2 double crochets in the 1 double crochet. 1 and 2. And so this is setting us up the same way that we did down here. All right, so chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go to this next double crochet and stitch 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and repeat. All right, so that's going to give us 5 of those sets of 2 double crochets with our chain 5s in between, just like we did down here on row 1. I have completed our 7 or row 7. We have our 3 double crochets, chain 5, 2 double crochets, and repeat across, ending with our chain 5 and our 3 double crochets. So now what you're going to do is you're going to continue to repeat row 2, which is 2 double crochets in each of the 2. And you're going to repeat row 2 through row 7 12 more times. You'll repeat the whole section 12 more times, or more if you want a longer wrap scarf. All right? So we're going to repeat row 2 through row 7 12 more times. So when you repeat your leaf 12 more times, those 7 rows, you're going to get a total of 13 repeats because we did 1 and 12 more. Go ahead and measure it. If it's not the length that you would like, you can always add more repeats. On your last repeat, let me grab my sample here that we're working off of. You want to make sure that you end on the row 6, which is the row with just 1 double crochet at the end of each of your leaves, because this is the row we're going to add the trim on. All right, so do as many repeats as you would like of your leaf rows. You can make it longer or shorter. It's totally up to you, what you prefer. When you do your last repeat, end on row 6 instead of row 7, because now we're going to do the trims. So after you've done as many rows as you want to, and you've ended on row 6, which is the 1 double crochet that we decreased down to for our 5 leaves, you're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to stitch in the 2nd double crochet. So we're going to stitch a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in that same stitch, chain 3, slip stitch in the top of that last stitch, double crochet in that same stitch, chain 1, and double crochet in that same stitch. And so what that is an open shell with a picot. So now we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we're going to come over here to this 1 double crochet, and we're going to stitch the same stitch. So we'll stitch a double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. Chain 3, slip stitch in the top of that double crochet, then double crochet in that same stitch, chain 1 and double crochet in that same stitch. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. See how that looks? The end of it is going to be flared out just a little bit. And I love the open shell with the picot in the top. All right, let's go to our next double crochet and do that again. So we'll double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, picot, double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet, all in that same stitch. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and then we'll do that in these next 3 double crochets, and then I'll show you how to end over here. So I've repeated this across. And this brings us to these last 3 double crochets. So we're going to go in that middle one, the second one, and stitch the same stitch pattern. So we're going to double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, stitch our picot, chain 3, slip stitch in the top of that stitch, and then double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet, all in that same double crochet stitch. Then in this last stitch we're going to stitch a single crochet, and then we'll tie off, and we'll pull that loop to the back side for a nice pretty finish, and then of course we'll need to weave that in. All right, so that's the one side. So what you need to do is go to the other side where we started, bring your yarn in to that first double crochet and single crochet, and then just repeat on this end what we did on this end. So this is our sample. We did in a solid gold color, and I have to admit, it looks really pretty in this solid gold color. But I absolutely love it in this super busy variegated. I just absolutely love it. And sometimes variegated yarns can seem just a little bit busy, but I think it's perfect for this pattern. And again, you can use ombres, striping yarn, solids, change colors when you want to. And I absolutely adore this fun picot trim that we added on both ends of our wrap scarf. So this is our falling leaves, because it looks like the leaves are falling right off of you when you wear it.